Just wait a couple seconds and then we can start.
Okay. Hello from Seattle Pacific University's nursing class of 2020. In today's video, Small Budget, Big Appetite, we will be helping you learn how to make healthy, nutritious food choices at the grocery store without breaking the bank. We would like to thank both the YWCA Angeline Day Center staff for their support while we worked on this project, and the women of Angelines who graciously filled out surveys for us in January that helped us better understand the education desires and needs of this population.
After having the opportunity to spend a couple of months at the YWCA's Angeline Day Center in downtown Seattle for our clinical rotation, we realized there is a great need for both health teaching and implementation. Through a survey conducted at the start of the quarter, we discovered that the women at this organization desired to learn more about how to make healthy, nutritious choices. What we didn't realize was that while many of these women had the knowledge necessary to make healthy choices, they did not have the budget nor the resources needed to carry this out. Thus, the following presentation will help empower individuals among this population to make healthy decisions when choosing food by not only giving them the knowledge they need, but by considering the cost of fresh, nutritious options and the budget necessary to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Having a constrained budget can make grocery shopping very difficult. While the average American spends $151 a week on food alone, the average individual experiencing homelessness makes an average of $48 to $75 a week. However, this income is not only used for food, but all other living expenses. As a result, telling someone to simply eat healthy involves much more than just giving them the knowledge they need to choose healthy foods. Understanding budgets, specifically limited budgets, is essential to helping individuals create a well-balanced diet full of nutritious food.
With this understanding of income and ability to buy healthy food, it is important to consider the true cost of eating healthy. Too often, individuals are forced to choose cost over nutritional value. Unfortunately, this often means buying a candy bar instead of an apple. So, how much more does it cost to eat healthy? Researchers conducted a study in 2013 and found that the average cost of eating healthy is about $1.50 more per day per person. As the last slide stated, for an individual who may only receive $1 donation, or who may only have $48 a week to spend on food, this increase in cost may quite literally break the bank. We kept this in mind when researching how to make healthy eating on a limited budget possible.
Having a desire to make healthier choices in your diet is a great place to start. The next step is to understand how you can choose healthier products when shopping at a grocery store or market. A large part of this decision-making process is reading nutrition labels. So we are going to go over how to understand these labels and what you want to look for when picking out food items.
It's important to remind ourselves why eating healthy even matters in the first place. Not only will you have more energy and just feel better if you're fueling your body well, but a healthy diet minimizes a lot of long-term health risks. Some of these include obesity, high blood pressure, which you might hear called hypertension, high cholesterol, which can lead to heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. All of these conditions come with many other health risks, which is why having a healthy diet is crucial to maintaining your overall health.
The first section on a nutrition label is the serving size. A serving size is actually just a recommendation of how much you should eat, and it is often smaller than the amount normally eaten. The serving size is what all of the other nutritional facts are based off of, so keep that in mind. For example, if a serving size is 1 tablespoon, but you eat 2 tablespoons, every other number would need to be doubled too. We have also created a video on appropriate portion sizes if you want to get a better idea of what that looks like.
The next section is going to show you calories. Generally, 2,000 calories per day is a good place to start, but this number is going to vary from person to person based on many different factors. Again, these calories are based on the serving size and not the entire package. So if you're eating more than one serving, you're eating more than the calories listed. It's also important to point out that calories are not all equal. We will talk about nutrients to look for in a little bit. So if a product has a slightly higher calorie count, but more nutrients, it might be the better option. Now we will talk about fat. Not all fat is bad fat. In fact, we need some fat in our diets. The percentages that you see are how much of the recommended daily amount you are getting from each nutrient. So this product has 23% of the daily saturated fat per serving. Now, while we need fat in our diets, there are certain kinds that are better for us than others. You want to look for products that have less saturated fat. So this product has 23% of the daily saturated fat per serving. Now, while we need fat in our diets, there are certain kinds that are better for us than others. You want to look for products that have less saturated fats and more unsaturated fats. Trans fats should be avoided completely if possible.
Next, we will look at cholesterol and sodium. Unless you have been told specifically by your primary care provider that you need to limit dietary cholesterol, in general, just keep an eye on that percentage. You want to stay within the daily recommended amount, so try not to exceed 100%. Sodium is something that you want to minimize as much as possible. It's not something that needs to be avoided completely, but it's important not to exceed the daily recommended amount of sodium either.
The next section is carbohydrates and protein, both important nutrients. You can see that your total carbohydrates are broken down into several different things. One of these is dietary fiber. You want to look for items that are high in dietary fiber as they aid in digestion and help you feel fuller for longer. Try aiming to get 25 grams of fiber per day. Sugars are also considered a carbohydrate. On nutrition labels, you want to pay close attention to the amount of added sugars. Try to select items that are lower in added sugars. As far as protein goes, you want to look for foods that are high in protein. Protein helps strengthen our muscles and bones and will also help keep you fuller for longer.
The last section of the nutrition label, found underneath the thick black line, is for vitamins and minerals. Anything listed here is a great sign. That's part of what can make a food nutrient-dense or full of nutrients. The more items listed here, the better. Some examples of vitamins you might see are vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E, and B vitamins. One thing to note is that thiamine, riboflavin, biotin, and folate are actually all B vitamins. In terms of minerals, again, any of these are great to see, especially with packaged foods. Potassium, iron, and calcium are a few minerals that you might want to look for. Again, anything listed here is awesome, and the more the better, unless you have a specific diet that prevents you from eating foods with certain vitamins or minerals. The very bottom of the nutrition label is just a key and describes the percent as being part of a daily value. That's it. While it looks a little overwhelming at first, hopefully breaking down how to read these labels helps you better understand what to look for when choosing food items.
Next, we are going to give you some helpful tips and examples that will help you tackle the grocery store. We'll take you through our own grocery store haul and show you the options we found. Just down the street from Angeline's is a corner market that we learned many of the women frequent when shopping for food. What we learned was the frustration and defeat many felt when they realized that the education they had been given regarding making healthy food choices only applied to large supermarkets. These women voiced their need to know how to shop for healthy food in a different setting, like this corner grocery store nearby the organization. We decided to look at this grocery store as well as similar corner markets when investigating what healthy options exist in settings like this. Next, we are going to show a video that highlights some healthy snack options that can be found at corner markets and price comparisons against some unhealthier options that can also be found at a corner market.
We set out to our local corner market to see what healthy options we could buy with a $30 budget. We will be showing some of the most popular snacking options that are found in a corner market, comparing them to some more healthy alternatives, and highlighting the key nutritional and price differences between each snack comparison. We discovered that buying the healthier options resulted in spending only about $10 more. Your health is worth the extra $10. In our edition of Buy This, Not That, we'll be looking at some common snacks that you may find at your local corner market and comparing their nutritional content to a healthier alternative snack that can also be found at your local corner market. As we move through the nutritional label, we will be looking at calories, fat, sodium, fiber, sugar, and protein content. Keep an eye out for the differences between these two snacks. First, we're going to be looking at the difference between Doritos and Popcorners. In one serving of Popcorners, there's 130 calories, 6 grams of fat, 170 milligrams of sodium, 0 grams of fiber, and 2 grams of sugar. The two main differences that we want to highlight are the fat content, which is 2 grams less in Popcorners, and the sodium content, which is significantly lower in Popcorners. Next, we will be comparing almonds versus corn nuts. As you can see, one serving of almonds has 170 calories, 16 grams of fat, 40 milligrams of sodium, 3 grams of fiber, and 6 grams of protein. Three differences that we want to highlight are the fat content, sodium content, and protein content. As it can be seen, there is quite a bit more fat in the almonds, but it is worth noting that this is the good fat that will leave you feeling satiated. Additionally, the sodium content is significantly less than that of the corn nuts. Lastly, the protein content of the almonds is double that of the corn nuts. Here we are comparing the nutritional differences between a Cliff Bar and a Think Thin Bar. The calorie content of one Think Thin Bar is 230 calories, 9 grams of fat, 260 milligrams of sodium, 1 gram of fiber, 0 grams of sugar, and 11 grams of sugar alcohol, and 20 grams of protein. Here we are highlighting the protein content in the Think Thin Bar, which is double that of the Cliff Bar, and the sugar content, which is significantly lower in the Think Thin Bar. Additionally, we'd like to point out that although the fiber content in the Cliff Bar is higher, fiber should be coming primarily from fruits and vegetables in your diet and not a nutritional bar. Next, we will be comparing Cheetos and beet chips. In a bag of beet chips, there are 70 calories, 1 gram of fat, 135 milligrams of sodium, 3 grams of fiber, 7 grams of sugar, and 2 grams of protein. It's worth noting that the calories in the beet chips are half that of the calories in the Cheetos. Additionally, there is only 1 gram of fat in the beet chips, while there are 10 grams in a serving of Cheetos. Lastly, there are only 135 milligrams of sodium in beet chips. It's worth noting, however, that although there are 7 grams of sugar in the beet chips, this sugar is naturally found in beets and may delight your taste buds. Here we are comparing the nutritional differences between a Slim Jim stick and a mozzarella and prosciutto stick. The mozzarella and prosciutto stick has 140 calories, 10 grams of fat, 790 milligrams of sodium, and 10 grams of protein. It is worth noting that both the calories and fat content is lower in the mozzarella bar and the protein content is higher. It is also worth noting that the sodium content in both of these foods is significantly higher than we would recommend for one snack. However, dried meats are naturally high in sodium. Here we are comparing the Nesquik and Fairlife brands of chocolate milk. Fairlife has 220 calories, 8 grams of fat,
300 milligrams of sodium, 21 grams of sugar, and 16 grams of protein. It's worth noting that Fairlife's chocolate milk has half the sugar content of the Nesquik brand of chocolate milk. Additionally, we'd like you guys to remember that chocolate milk should be viewed as a treat and not a daily staple in your diet. Here, we are looking at the difference between Grandma's peanut butter cookie and the complete peanut butter cookie. A complete peanut butter cookie has 420 calories, 13 grams of fat, 390 milligrams of sodium, 10 grams of fiber, 18 grams of sugar, and 16 grams of protein. We'd like to point out here that the fat and sugar content in the complete cookie is significantly lower. Additionally, the fiber content is doubled and the protein content is tripled in the complete cookie. This protein is important to incorporate into snacks because it'll leave you feeling fuller longer. Next, we'll be comparing Lay's chips and kale chips. In a bag of kale chips, there are 100 calories, 7 grams of fat, 180 milligrams of sodium, 2 grams of fiber, and 4 grams of protein. While kale chips may appear similar to Lay's chips nutritionally, it's important to note that the kale chips contain 90% of your daily requirements for vitamin K. 90% is a significant amount in a small bag of chips. Additionally, this small bag of kale chips also contains 15% of your vitamin A requirements. While kale chips may seem similar to Lay's in many ways, the nutrients in kale chips are numerous. Here, we are comparing the nutritional differences between Act 2 Butter Lovers popcorn and premium popcorn white cheddar. In one serving of the premium popcorn white cheddar, there is 170 calories, 11 grams of fat, 135 milligrams of sodium, less than 1 gram of fiber, and 3 grams of protein. Popcorn is notoriously known for being very high in sodium, so we would like to highlight that the premium popcorn white cheddar is significantly less than the Butter Lovers popcorn. If you are trying to watch your sodium content, we recommend this popcorn. Lastly, we'd like to compare a bottle of Gatorade to a bottle of Bai antioxidant infusion drink. In a bottle of Bai, there are only 10 calories, 10 milligrams of sodium, and 1 gram of sugar. Bai also contains 10 grams of erythritol, which is a natural sweetener. Bai is a great option for those who would like to reach for a sweet and fruity drink on a hot day. We hope this video was both educational and informative. After watching this video, we hope that you feel equipped to make healthy and smart decisions the next time you're at your local corner market. Thank you for watching.
Lastly, when shopping at the grocery store, it's important to know how to shop before you even enter the store. We are going to give you some smart tips that will produce smart shopping. First, consider your food needs and hunger level. When possible, try not to shop on an empty stomach. We understand that this is unavoidable sometimes. Also, consider your food needs. What do you really need? This is important to think about before shopping too. Another important tip is to shop the perimeter first. Why, you may ask? The perimeter is where the majority of produce and dairy items are located. You're more likely to stock up on these items if you shop in these areas first, which often means you're making healthier choices. Also, drink with caution. So many beverages on the market these days are mega-sized and/or are full of dyes and sugars. Unfortunately, you can all too easily get all your calories for the day from one of these drinks. Instead, try water, sparkling water, low-fat milk, or even iced teas. Lastly, think small. Rather than buying a giant package of bread, perhaps buy a small loaf of bread, some light cheese, and some lean lunch meat. This way, you have a more well-balanced meal. Also, avoid buying a big serving of food. We all know that it's impossible to just eat one potato chip, and that's so true. Instead, try buying a smaller bag that will help you practice self-control when eating foods like these.
Thank you so much for tuning into this presentation. We hope that now you feel that you not only understand the importance of healthy eating or know how to do it, but that you feel empowered and able to do it in a way that doesn't force you to spend outside of your budget. Our hope is that through the continual sharing and viewing of this video, even more people will feel empowered to eat healthy and will feel they have the necessary tools and skills needed to maintain a balanced diet on a limited budget. Thank you.